allow me to preface this by saying this is just my opinion. Unlike certain drama channels out there, I'm not going to try to force you to take a side. No, I'm just going to bitch about what I believe is the correct thing, and that's why I think Nijisanji falling is just going to help everyone. Hold on. Let me assume my pretentiousness. Glasses. Tea. Perfect. Now, allow us to talk about why Nijisanji crashing is a good thing. Now, it wasn't always bad over at Nijisanji. It was actually quite nice. For a lot of VTubers growing up, it was the first one to pioneer live 2D technology. And for the most part, it was actually beating Hololive right up until the point that Hololive broke out into the West. And I believe, even to this day, that Hololive still has that advantage there. Between the two of them, there's arguably stronger Westerners like Iron Mouse, but in terms of between the two corpos, Hololive is winning. Now, you may be wondering, how did Nijisanji fall so far? Well, I would like to say its approach. Hololive started corpo, obviously, but they've become more personal over the years, and they've decided to be more hands-off. They're still very idol-oriented, don't get me wrong, and they have guidelines that you have to follow. But Nijisanji has always been detached. For example, we know all about Yagu, the CEO of Hololive. We know about Sakana of FaZe Connect, and even the Avel of IdleCorp. We know those CEOs. They are people to us. But we don't know much about the Nijisanji CEO. It's like an enigma. I think I've heard about him once or twice, but it's pretty much a mystery. And I think ever since the advent of Nijisanji EN, it's been going downhill. First, there was the whole drama about them not being able to cross over with Hololive EN for reasons that still escape us to this day. Eventually, they patched that up. But it was peculiar, to say the least. And the way that they kept canceling Selin's concerts and the way they didn't give their talents much revenue at all. Like, it was like a horrible split, like, I don't know, 80-20. I don't know. I know they didn't get much. I think their only profits was probably like merchandise or super chats, but everything else went to the company, and the talents didn't see anything else. And it became hard for them. And that's sad, because Nijisanji, the company is shit, but the talents are phenomenal. Arzamel, Albio, Hanamakia, all those wonderful people, they don't deserve such a crappy company, and which is why I believe that Nijisanji falling is a good thing. Now, hear me out. The reason why I believe it'll fall is, well, if you've noticed the past year, they've been hemorrhaging talents to the point that their applications are always open because they never know when someone new is going to graduate. In fact, I believe the only reason Selin has been radio silent is because we've had 2 graduations already, and Nijisanji wants to save face by not announcing Selin's graduation just yet. Which means that, yes, I do believe in sometime in February or March we'll be seeing Selin's graduation. Beyond that, I do believe that the reason why a lot of people gravitated towards Nijisanji is because of the low skill gap, per se. Hololive required idols. You needed to sing for the most part. Nijisanji, they just marketed themselves as just streamers. Chill gaming streamers, right? So it appealed to a lot of people because not everyone has the fortitude to be an indie VTuber. Some do, don't get me wrong, myself included. But not many have it because, you know, it's difficult if you're an extrovert and you need connections, you need friends, you need an environment that fosters creativity, because not everyone is a solo creator, and that's fine. It's okay to want an environment with your peers, and that's why Nijisanji appealed to a lot of people. So I assume that once they got a little bit of a following, they applied to Nijisanji, and Nijisanji saw that they had a little talent, or a lot of talent, and went, look at these schmucks, we can take advantage of them real good. So that's what they did. And I believe there's a lot of contracts, a lot of red tape that prevent that ex-talents even from complaining about what's going on in Nijisanji's hellhole. Like, there's a lot of hints, don't get me wrong. But I think that it's a lot worse than you think it is. Like, probably awful. Now, you might be going, Rain, what about Hololive? They could be just as bad. Well, we do have a safeguard. Fubuki Shirikami, a few years ago, said, if Hololive ever becomes a bad place for talents, I will graduate. That's how you know that it's pretty chill still, because she's still there. And I believe we can trust her on that. Now, you may be wondering, next, what happens if Nijisanji does die? Well, it gives all the other companies that are much better, such as FaZe Connect and Idle Corp, room to grow. They're already growing pretty good, especially with Nijisanji exploding right now. But I believe they could take Nijisanji's place in the West. Do I think Nijisanji will die entirely? Doubtful. They still make a lot of money because they're stealing from their talents. But I think that much like they gave up on Indonesia, they may very well give up on EN because it's hemorrhaging talents a lot right now. It's doing the same thing JP does. Like, they revolving talents. Like, every 2 months they graduate. It's kind of ridiculous because they have so many of them. So I think that their EN branch, its time in this world is limited. I don't think it's going to stick around for very long at all. I think it's just going to keep losing members, and then it'll go kaput. And then we can have other companies like FaZe Connect and Idle Corp. And you may be wondering what happens to the EN talents. I think you already know that answer. It's called VShojo. And I know VShojo is not popular with everyone. I know that there are people who have beef with some of the members and because of their past dramas. But when you think about it, it's the best case scenario. Look at Koro and Matar. We know who they are. It's an open secret. They're so much happier in VShojo. You can tell watching their streams and videos. It's not an act. They genuinely feel happier. And then you look at some of the Nijisanji streams, and you wonder, and it makes you wonder, how much of that was faked? How much emotional, trauma were some of these idols, and not idols, but VTubers under? How much was going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about? It's kind of worrisome. It's worrying that your favorite Oshi could actually just be going under a terrible situation because Nijisanji is not helping them. Look at Koro. He had text issues out the ass, and Nijisanji didn't help him at all. It's only because the creator of VShojo, the guy who owns it, reached out to him and helped him. Kuro was asking everyone, and it wasn't until Iron Mouse, who only knew him in pathing, referred him to her boss that he got help. And this guy had no reason to help Koro. There was no connection at that point. You wonder, it's no wonder why he joined VShojo. And that's what I like to see. I like to see companies or groups that put their members first. I want to see an environment that fosters that kind of camaraderie, of familiarity, of warmth and creativity. And Nijisanji, they don't do that. They're all about the corporate greed. They're the worst kind of company. The kind that doesn't care about the people that work for them. The kind that looks down on the retail worker at the cashier, or the one stocking the shelves, or the one pushing the carts. That kind of corporate greed. So, if you ask me, don't support Nijisanji. By all means, support the talents. Watch them, because that's where they get their revenue. That's where they get paid. Support them, make them feel loved and happy, but don't support the company. Stop buying company events. If it's a company event, do not support it. Hate the company, not the workers. And on a side tangent, you guys, I can't believe you harassed Aurora from OperaGX because you didn't like OperaGX. Seriously, just hate the company, not the person. You guys can be awful at sometimes, but I digress as a side tangent. Overall, is what I'm saying is that if Nijisanji falls, it's a good thing. And it can only help the VTuber community prosper and get better. Because if you think about it, it's not that old in its current form. It only really exploded with the advent of Hololive EN in 2020. Oh god, was that 4 years ago now? Well, almost. Jeez, time flies, doesn't it? But overall, I think I'll end it with this. Do I believe that Nijisanji will fall completely? No. Like I said before, I believe the EN branch will dissolve. That is probably inevitable. But I do think something will happen either this year or the next. So, if you watched this far and you've liked what I had to say, thank you. If you disagree, leave your comments down below and let me know. Let's start a discussion, because I'm always up for a little discussing or reading your comments. It doesn't matter. And if you think corporos are stupid like Nijisanji, let me know too. But again, this is my opinion. I implore you to go out and do your own research to figure out where you truly stand on the matter, and then, only then, form an opinion. Don't let my mindless drivel convince you of anything. I'm just flapping my gums here. Just getting it out of my system, okay? Until the next time, everybody, rain out.